development, parents need to help them to develop other skills that they will need in order to become resourceful, resilient, and compassionate adults. However, if an infant fails to achieve this, he or she may not be able to develop a concept of trust as well as have difficulty achieving the next developmental stages. Incidentally, many studies of suicides and suicide attempts point to the importance of the early years in developing the basic belief that the world is trustworthy, that every individual has a right to be here. This only shows how important trust is in our survival. According to one German sociologist named Niklas Luhmann, he said, a complete absence of trust would prevent one from even getting up in the morning. For that reason, human beings tend to face the world with an attitude of trust. Unless there are evidence to the contrary, we go out of our doors thinking that there is no gunman outside trying to shoot us. We trust that every morning. We go to work thinking that nothing bad will happen to us. Or we come to church today trusting that the builders of this building has done their job and that it will not fall on us. Isn't it? Without the trust, we cannot function normally. Without trust, there will be no hope. And without hope, it is impossible for us to live. This trust is an indispensable ingredient of a meaningful life. And today we will try to understand how trust in the Lord impacts our lives in general and our health in particular. Let me just mention to you some things that I have learned why people take their own lives. These are statistics that the Samaritans, it's a charitable organization which helps people who have suicidal instincts. They say, and according to their statistics, that 1 million people across the globe die by suicide each year. That's one suicide every 40 seconds. More people die by suicide each year than by murder and war combined. It's estimated that approximately 5% of people attempt suicide at least once in their lifetime. And between 10 and 14% of us, the general population, we may try to deny it or not, may have had suicidal thinking once in our lifetime. That is how big a problem it is. And it boils down to people not being able to develop that sense of trust. In the UK alone, in 2011, 6,045 persons took their own lives. And suicide estimated to be underreported for reasons of stigma, religion, and social attitudes. And many suicides are hidden away from causes of death, such as road traffic accidents or drowning. So, in here, we will see that trust is an important part of our lives. But understanding how it impacts our health is different. Now, we will look at two things. The first one is happiness. Part of human nature is to dream and aspire about things that they believe could make their lives complete or meaningful. It could be wealth, fame, or other things. And some people spend their entire lives pursuing those dreams and aspirations. Ferdinand Magellan was a Portuguese explorer who was considered as the one who led the first expedition to circumnavigate the world. Meaning to say, he was the first one to go around the world. It didn't come easy. His first proposal was rejected by the Portuguese king, but because he had desired to achieve it, he did all he could to pursue it, despite all the drawbacks of his time, the rejection and lack of support that he encountered. Eventually, he left his country. He left Portugal and he went to Spain, where he found the funding and support that he needed from Spanish King Charles I. During his expedition, he discovered a vast expanse of water, and he named it Mar Pacifico, or Pacific Ocean. And in 1521, he found a group of islands he named the Philippines after King Philip of Spain. He was the person who introduced Christianity to this group of islands. He even died trying to convert one of the local kings into Christianity. But until now, the Philippines is considered as the only Christian nation in Asia. And about 2 million of those Christians are Seventh-day Adventists. Here is a man who achieved things other than his pursuit to circumnavigate the world. For many people, especially Seventh-day Adventists, the pursuit of happiness is a lifelong quest. Some find bits and pieces of it along the way, but in the end, we find that true happiness, deep, lasting, forever kind of happiness, cannot be found in things, circumstances, or even people. That's because things get old and break, circumstances change, and people sometimes let us down or leave us eventually by choice, circumstances, or death. There is a survey conducted by the Office of National Statistics. They did this survey to find out whether people are happy or not. It is an indicator of whether people are satisfied or not with the way their lives are. It's done here in the UK, and we will look at the figures. According to the survey, the happiest people are those 16 to 19 years old and 65 to 79 years old. It's probably because they have less things to worry about. Okay, so when you're young, you don't worry about things. You don't worry about paying the bills or the house or the car. And when you have retired, there's also less things to worry. Just go on holidays. So that's probably the reason why. But for those people between the ages of 20 to 64, things are not really good at all. They are the unhappiest people that you can find here in the UK. And then, when it comes to places, the happiest people tend to live in Scotland and Northern Ireland. I don't know why. It might be the accent, but I'm not sure. And the saddest people tend to live in England and Wales. And according to ethnic groups, the happiest people